Now for a look at the legal stakes in this unprecedented case, we go to criminal defense attorney Jacqueline Goodman. Jacqueline, thank you so much for joining us. Some of the nuances here, 17 humans were murdered, but Peterson is facing 7 counts of felony child neglect, 3 counts of culpable negligence, 1 count of perjury. Why not 17? Can you explain that to our viewers?
Well, the number of people who were killed and the number of people who were injured, each of these has to stand its own test of whether the elements were met. So some of these are just really technical questions for the prosecutor. Do they have the evidence for each of these counts? Some of them occurred before the evidence shows that Mr. Peterson even knew of a shooter. And so there are just some technical questions about whether the prosecutor believes that they can prove each of these counts beyond a reasonable doubt. It has nothing to do with the value they give to any of the lives or the injuries that occurred in the case.
Are these charges unusual?
Very unusual. In fact, it's probably, to my knowledge, it's a novel theory. First of all, I don't think there's ever been a time where we've seen a case like this where law enforcement was charged. So I think the prosecution is going to have a real uphill battle in terms of showing causation in the first place. And in general, we think about our criminal code as punishing actions for people and not so much inaction. And so that's another aspect of this case that makes it novel. It's also going to be really difficult for the prosecution because the criminal, this man faces 100 years in prison with the charges that he's facing now. And this is over potentially things that may have even been out of his control. There's the human alarm reaction pattern, or what we think of as fight or flight response, where the brain is just kind of flooded with cortisol. He may be believing the things that he's saying at the time. And we know this is true because literature tells us that in instances, for example, in war zones, the same thing happens over and over and over again, that really perceptions are changed when you're in the midst of something so difficult. And so when the 60-year-old man was meant to face down this 19-year-old with an AR-15 and he was underarmed, without any body armor, with a small pistol. All of these things and many more you put together and you wonder whether there's really going to be the opportunity for a prosecution to prove a crime beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, when, like you said, typically criminal charges are for something that you do not do. But I will say, you can talk about the fight or flight, but him going on the Today Show and saying, I'm a human in a perfect world, I would say, oh yeah, I know there's a shooter, let me go in and find this person. Some of it may seem a little bit flippant, and I wonder if any of that will influence what the jury thinks, because he was vocal. He probably shouldn't have been vocal.
I think I say that to every one of my clients. The problem is that people have experienced something and they want to express that to the rest of the world. And it's hard not to. I'm sure that if he could go back and redo that day, he would. But I'm also, I expect that it's true that he believes his version of what happened. And none of us were there. So I don't know what the truth is and what the truth wasn't. But I also know that he was under a tremendous amount of stress at the time that he was perceiving those things. From the evidence, even in the midst of this event, when other officers came essentially to his aid and asked him, where's the shooter? He would say, I don't know. And, oh my God. And he really couldn't even form a thought. And that's something that, I think that our brains are just wired differently than people think. It's not just a videotape, and we're not really trained to address the chemical reactions and the amygdala taking over our brain in order to, there's really not a lot of frontal lobe activity. And it's easy for us to armchair quarterback and say, oh, I would have done it differently, I should have done it differently. But really, he's being charged with criminal cowardice, I think. And that's just a very novel idea.
Yes.
I'm not so sure.
It is a novel. It's certainly something that we have never seen before. Very unusual charges. Jacqueline Goodman, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.